tournament.
Football's the easy part.
Yeah, it ain't, not in my mind.
It is when you play like that. He becomes... well, his goal tonight and his goal against Iran at the World Cup in 2022, Jude Bellingham became the 5th player to score England's opening goal at 2 different major tournaments. Bobby Charlton, Alan Shearer, Brian Robson and some useless bloke with big ears got the others. What a performance.
Yeah, I mean, just some of his clips, his highlights from the game. I mean, he had absolutely everything there. He's up for it, a little chest bump there as well. And just, he exudes that confidence, whether he's dropping deep, where he was going a little bit more in number 8. It's a lovely little touches in tight areas he can do. He can be a complete midfielder as long as he learns tactically exactly what the manager wants. But Cesc, come on, talk to me about that pass.
No, it's fantastic, but it's not only how he talks. You know, some players, they can lie to you in the way they talk, mature and stuff, but then he talks on the pitch the same exact way, which is what surprised me, you know, because at the end of the day, the consistency is what brings you anywhere in life, in football, and he's got that throughout the whole match, and that he makes things happen throughout the whole time. Because if we can say that England played a bit not well in the second half, he was the one that was making them tick sometimes every time they had the ball.
The one thing I love about those clips there, in every phase of midfield, he looks supremely comfortable. Whether he's getting the ball off the back 4, whether he's in the midfield driving with the balls on 8, or with a number 10 arriving late in the box, that's a sign of a complete midfielder.
Well, he was sort of playing a 6, 8, 10, the lot, wasn't he, at times?
And that allows the others to be able to, like Cesc said before, that allows him to complement the other players around him as well, because he's so comfortable in moving around them areas. But as I said, if he's the one getting on the end of things in that box for us, I think we've got a huge chance. And if he's given that freedom continually in the games, then we have a huge chance. As long as he stays fit, I think the only worry coming into this tournament was maybe him being fresh enough. But even in this game today, he looked like a fresh, young 20-year-old that we expected to see.
Plenty of energy. Serbia had their chances in the second half, didn't they? Not clear-cut ones, but...
Yeah, they did, but tactically, I didn't like what England did in the second half. They were sloppy in terms of positioning. They dropped a little bit deeper. I think in the end, we're looking at the centre-halves had really good games. Forgay was outstanding throughout the game. But it's just that mentality. And we always talk about mentality as footballers. When you're up in a game, how do you deal with it? When you're behind in a game, can you make the right substitutions to change it? I thought at times, Kane, for the last 20 minutes, was non-existent. Can we bring on Ollie Watkins to stretch it? But yeah, I just think that the panic set in, and Serbia, and I said before the game, they're a good team. They're a physical team. They've got some really good players. Against a better team, you will get punished. And I know it's only the start of the tournament, but it's something they need to learn on, and they need to learn quick, because, yeah, in the second half, they were underwhelming.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Jordan Pickford knocking that over the bar. He's kept 6 clean sheets in 8 games at the Euros and has 10 overall in major tournaments, which equals the great Peter Shilton's England record.
Wow.
And that's why he's England's #1 right now, because I think in England's shirt, in terms of making saves, I think whenever he's been called upon, he produces. Yeah. I just think as a team, we need to really look at the way that we see a game out. There's different ways to see a game out. You can sit back, edge of your box, or low block, and just withstand the pressure and see it out that way. But that's panic stations. Like we're sitting here behind the sofa almost watching the game at the end. Not that bad, but
we haven't got.
And there's another way.
Yeah, we haven't got a sofa.
But there's another way to see a game out, is actually being dominant with the ball, and taking the onus away from the opposing team by being confident, playing higher, a bit like the way you guys played.
I think as well, my experience now as a manager, my short career as a manager, is that you have 3 chances or 3 ways of doing things right for the team. First, before the game, you can talk tactics, prepare the game, etc. Halftime, make changes or explain the things that need to be better or continue to doing. And then is the second half, the changes that you propose to the team, because sometimes they cannot hear you. You know how it is to be a player. You know, you're focused. If you send the message that you put a defensive midfielder and a defender extra, you know, to cover the result, you as a player, you feel it, you know, and mentally you start going back and dropping and getting pressure and pressure and pressure. If you instead put an offensive player, a controller like Palmer, let's say, that gets you up the pitch, controls the ball up the pitch in the final third, and you get control in there and you don't get occasions at the back, I think the players will get as well so much more comfortable.
Yeah, that's another criticism that's often levelled at Gareth Southgate, the changes he makes in the second half in games, and the impact that that may or may not have had. And I think you can see a reflection of how things changed in the game by the average starting positions of the players, Micah.
Yeah, I don't want to be too critical because England have won the game, but we're just talking about the positions. This is in the first half. And then look at the second half, how much they have dropped. Like Cesc says, there's different ways to finish a game and to deal with the game. And I just think panic stations set in. And if we want to go far in this tournament, we've got to be able to deal with the ball in these situations that can move us forward.
And that's where an arrogance comes in. So it's got to be like, give me the ball under pressure. I think it's a great point. The best teams are the ones that take the ball under pressure in the most pressurised situations.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Harry Kane, we talked about half-time, didn't we, about the fact that he'll be patient. All he'll want to do is score the goal, wait for the chance to come. It came, and it was brilliantly saved.
Yeah, well, Bowen comes on, puts in a good cross, a wonderful save from the goalkeeper. But the thing I like about Kane is he doesn't get disillusioned. He knew he was going to get opportunity at some stage. Okay, on another day this probably goes in, but it's a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. And that's what he's got to do. He's just got to be patient. I think when we talk about, and you talked about half-time, is when you've got players behind you, Cole Palmer, Saka, Foden, all these brilliant players, just be patient, that the chances will come.
Yeah. Absolutely. We can hear from one of England's defenders. Terrific performance, I felt. Mark Gahey is with Kelly.
Well, Mark, firstly, congratulations on your tournament debut with England. A clean sheet and a win as well. How did you feel it went?
It went well. It's always very tough in the first game of any tournament. You know, both teams always at it, wanting to get the first 3 points. And I think we did really well. We dealt with their long balls quite well, defended our box. You know, they're a good side. It was a tough test. So, yeah, really proud of the boys today.
Yeah, you talked there about being a tough test. It was a very physical test as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you've got Vlahovic and Mitrovic up front, you know, a team full of 6-foot giants in their team, you know, it's always going to be physical. You know, and they can play as well. They're always going to cause threats. But I think we dealt with it well today.
What was that like for you coming into a new look backline as the new player in there to have to deal with such threats?
I've always said it helps when you've got so many experienced players around me. You know, Trips, who's got like 4 tournaments or 5 tournaments under his belt. Stonesy the same, Walks the same, Picks the same. So, you know, I'm coming into a backline with so much experience, and the players in front have got so much experience as well, so it helps a lot for me.
What did change in the second half, because England were so dominant in that opening 45 minutes?
You know, you're playing against good players. A tough system to play against as well, to get pressure on. And you're always kind of worrying about the ball in behind and their physical threat. You know, and I think in these games you just have to make sure that you're as solid as possible. You're not always going to play the way you want to play, but it's important that you adapt. I think we adapted well today.
Yeah, you got the win, but does it maybe need to be better in the next games?
100%. We can always improve. We can always improve, and we'll definitely look to improve. Look at the areas in which we can get better. But, you know, it's a good start, and, you know, on to the next one. And
for you overall, first few days away on your first major tournament with England, how have you settled in?
Settled in well. I don't really like talking too much about myself. It's more about the team. But yeah, everyone makes everyone feel welcome. It's a good spirit in the camp, and yeah, just glad to be here.
Well done today.
Thank you.
What a delightful young man. So modest, but so impressive.
A joy to watch. Yeah. I mentioned him being very calm. Obviously, going to the Euros, it must be daunting at times, but he didn't show it in his game at all.